Okay, so this is the last 20 games of the NBA regular season, and today we are going to be talking about every single team in the East's goals for their last 20 games of the season and how significant this part of the season really is for these teams. If you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by around June. Every subscription, every like, it really means a lot. I've got a Twitch and Discord linked below. We're probably going to be streaming live tonight after this video goes up, and joining the Discord really helps a lot. So let's just get into this video. Alright, first, for the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are in a weird position right now. They have Trae Young, but no Jalen Johnson, and they don't own their pick outright this year, so they have no reason to play bad, but I think they got decidedly worse at the deadline at the same time. They're in a really weird situation right now where it looks like Trae might be out the door this offseason, but I really don't buy that they should be actively looking for Trae trades, so I guess try to make the best playoff push possible for the rest of the season and play Onyeka Okongwu as much as possible, make up some injury for Clint Capella maybe. For the Celtics, just stay healthy, keep rolling, maybe push for the 1 seed, or at least start to hit your threes more down the stretch. This is obviously the best three-point shooting team in the NBA. I just want to see them go on like a 7-8 game win streak to prove that they've really got it. I had 12-game win streak on the bingo card this year. They haven't done that, so I really want to see them go on just a juggernaut run to end the year. For the Nets, they're in a bit of a purgatory situation right now. They are just a little bit out of that complete bottom feeder part of the Eastern Conference, and they've actually vaulted the Sixers in the standings. I would say just sort of keep doing what you're doing. I think Jordi Fernandez has done a really good job coaching this team. I'm liking the Tosin Awoma minutes. They've got Killian Hayes in the rotation. I don't think they're going to maintain their position above the Sixers in the standings, so just honestly keep doing what you're doing. Try to get Cam Thomas on the sidelines for the rest of the year at this point. He's had this hamstring injury. I think they've just been extending that for as long as possible, and then target some upside over fit in the draft this year. For the Chicago Bulls, lose as much as possible, play the young guys a ton. I'm talking about Matas Buzelis, Julian Phillips. Try to figure if Dalian Terry is a real NBA player. I'm still not sure about that. Ramp up Lonzo Ball, and then decide on the long-term point guard for the future, and also target some upside in the draft this year. For the Charlotte Hornets, they have literally the worst injury luck I've ever seen in my fucking life. This team has injuries up and down the roster. It's completely brutal, so there's really not much they can do other than just lose as much as possible and target talent in the draft. Don't pick a true point guard, don't pick a true center. For Cleveland, prove that you're a bona fide contender and get that 70 win mark. This team is, in my opinion, and probably in most people's opinion, just a slight 5% below Boston and OKC. We haven't seen them do it in the same way that we've seen Boston do it, and I think OKC is just better than this team. So prove that you're in that upper echelon, and prove that the DeAndre Hunter trade was really awesome, because obviously this team, when they're rolling, is one of the hardest teams in the NBA to stop, so getting that 70 win mark is going to be huge for them. For the Detroit Pistons, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they have a legitimate chance to get home court in the playoffs if some balls bounce their way. Try to lock up home court if possible, and if not, try to manipulate the standings in such a way where you're not getting a bad matchup. They're almost definitely going to be outside the play-in, so really no matchup is like super preferable for them. I'd probably rather have New York than Cleveland, but Cleveland is out of reach, Boston is out of reach. I'd rather have Indiana than any of these teams though, so try to put yourself in a position where you're playing Indiana in the first round. I wouldn't pick them against Milwaukee or New York, but if I had to pick one matchup for them, I think Milwaukee is a little bit more reasonable, so try to get a matchup against Milwaukee or Indiana in the playoffs. This team has just been rolling lately, so keep up that momentum. For Indiana, secure home court. That seems to be a pretty big deal for this team, and then establish a playoff rotation. Who's their top 8? Are you going to have Jarris Walker contributing in the playoffs? What's Andrew Nembhard's role going to be in the playoffs? And shore up your perimeter defense, because this team's perimeter defense is one of their big question marks. For Miami, I'm not really sure what the long-term outlook for this team is. They're definitely not bad right now. They've got a nice mix of young players and role players. I actually think this is a really, really fun team. I would say the number one thing for them would be to figure out what Andrew Wiggins' role is on this team. Try and unlock something new with him and see if he can really take a leap with the rest of the year and then have a better idea of what his role is going to be on this team next year. Is he a star? Is he a role player? Is he a guy you're looking to move? What is Andrew Wiggins really doing on this roster? For the Milwaukee Bucks, you got to maximize this perimeter defense right now. I mean, you've got Kuz, Andre Jackson, Gary Trent. These are not incredible perimeter defenders, but they can lock up a little bit. You really need Kuz to be a big part of that perimeter defense if you want to be successful down the stretch here. And just try and win as much as possible to keep Giannis happy. Go for your highest seeding possible and have the team in a rhythm going into the playoffs. Kuzma is going to have such a big role that I think that as long as they can avoid Boston in the second round, they're not completely cooked. But I think in the long run, we're starting to see that this Bucks team is really running out of assets to keep Giannis happy. So that Giannis trade, man, that might be a season or two away at this point. For the Knicks,
you're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
You're not a contender in the same way that Cleveland and Boston are. So just don't grind down the team's treads on their tires too much. And just keep everyone healthy before the season starts. Reacclimate Mitchell Robinson into the lineup and just try and prepare yourself for a good but not NBA Finals worthy playoff push. This team is very good, but they are definitely some depth away from being a bona fide contender. For the Orlando Magic, they have been struggling real bad lately. Paolo Banchero has not looked great, although he had a really good game in Golden State last night. And the team's offense has just completely floundered. So I'm not really sure how to fix it. I do think that the big thing for this team is they've got to prepare to make a move in the offseason for once, because this team has not traded players in years. Like, they literally just don't make trades at all. So I think at this point, that's the only avenue I think they have to fixing the offense. They have a lot of good guards on this team that can help them, but mostly on the defensive end. So I really just think the avenue for them is to look for a trade to open up the offense a little bit next year and try to stay on the top half of the play-in for this year. Not really worried about the playoff push for them, honestly. For Philadelphia, it's over. Shut down Joel Embiid. Try to keep the pick this year. If it conveys to Oklahoma City, we are all fucked royally. So try to keep the pick. The season's over. Shut down Joel. Try again next year. For Toronto, you guys have been ethically tanking very, very well this year. And try to target a point guard or to develop Malawach in the draft if those are guys that you can target with the pick they get. Just ethically tanking has been this team's motto all season. Whether they get Brandon Ingram back or not is not really an issue for me. I still don't think they're going to be very good. And just keep doing what you're doing and maybe consider trading back in the draft if you're going to be in a position where you can only get like a wing. Like if you get a top 2 or 3 pick in this draft and you're Toronto, I would consider trading back. Maybe you draft Dylan Harper. I'm really not sure how that would fit. They've got some avenues that they can work around in the draft, though. This can be a very interesting team in July for sure. And then lastly, for the Washington Wizards, just keep losing, I guess. I mean, this team has avoided infamy as the team with the lowest winning percentage in NBA history already. So sag for flag, but try to play your vets a little bit to not intentionally be the worst team in the NBA. They will get top odds in the draft lottery no matter what, so there's really no point. And yeah, if they get flag, it's awesome, and if they don't, that blows. But that's going to really do it for me. If you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We've got the Twitch, we've got the Discord, we've got my second channel now linked in the description. That's really just going to have VODs and clips on it. It's really nothing remarkable, but you can check that out if you're interested. I will be live tonight on Twitch. We're going to be streaming some horror games, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Cue that music.